Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Starcraft 2 England cast. And today I have a game for you between LiquidSheth and acslayer. Now obviously two top players, both of whom do play at a professional level. acslayer is going to be playing as the red Terran in the bottom left position, and Sheth as the blue Zerg in the bottom right position. Now the map, as you can see, is Teldarim Altar, so hopefully we will be seeing a great macro game between these two players. Obviously it is really favouring to the macro position, lots of expansions, very long rush distances, so it really, many would argue, shows a lot of kind of long-term skill, endurance, really highlights macro mistakes as opposed to build order mistakes, because obviously if someone rushes you and you've gone for an early expansion and you just die, then obviously while it's exciting to watch and it's very micro heavy, it's not so much highlighting mistakes but just highlighting that sometimes if you do something which people call cheesy, you can win. Now if we take a look, both players are probably going to go standard. I mean, on this map I would almost guarantee that we'll see an 15 hatch from Sheth, and we might even see a command center first from Slayer. And now Slayer, if you look at the chat, Slayer's saying don't pour me too hard. Now Slayer, you may be joking, but come on, be confident. You can totally do this. Now I'm not going to be biased, I'll try not to be anyway, but no, I won't be biased. But I mean, have some more self-confidence. I mean, this is true in the ladder and everything else. The reason a lot of people go on losing streaks is because they start losing a couple of games and they think, oh my god, I'm terrible, what am I going to do, oh god, another game I'm going to lose, and then they get themselves into a negative mindset and they start making more mistakes because they think they're going to lose. Now I mean, obviously that's a bit off on a tangent, but be more confident, people. Most people are pretty good at a lot of things. As long as you put in the effort and focus on improving, you'll do well. Now this drone scout is going the wrong way, this overlord scout also going the wrong way. Sheth's being pretty damn unlucky with scouting in the right direction, but he has gone for a 15 pool, a 15 hatch, 16 pool and a 18, no, something gas after pool though. And we have got a command center first by Slayer. Now again, on this map it's fine, the wall off is going to be completed. The barracks just coming down now. I mean, he's at no risk from anything at all. So it just means that you can get out. And now the problem Sheth will have here is obviously in reaction to a very early expansion from a Terran or Protoss player, a Zerg player needs to take that third base really quickly. But obviously on Teldarim Altar, there's these rocks here. Very inconvenient rocks. And because you can't expand there, your only other choices are a long way away or very hard to get to. Either way, not ideal. So it really means that Sheth will now be in a position where he's basically playing on catch up in the economy, which is not where you want to be as a Zerg player. You want to get that good economy up quickly. We have got a factory and a reactor coming down now for Slayer, so reactor Hellions are going to be on their way. A second gas now being taken. That command center just morphed into an orbital, making some SCVs, but keeping the wall off just in case there was any pool shenanigans. Now the SCV who was scouting Sheth's base has been killed. Speed is on the way. 3 drones left in the gas and a second gas being taken at the natural now. So again, Sheth isn't going to be doing anything too unusual, but also won't be getting that early hatch. I mean, if you do get that third hatch really quickly, you need to pull guys out of gas and go and build the hatch. I mean, you don't have to, but it's just the most speedy way to get it out. Now this wall off is now going to be done, and these Zerglings are going to be timed awesomely. They can just run straight into Slayer's base and see absolutely everything. He knows that expansion is now in position. There's nothing to do to stop it. He will see literally everything that's going on. He will see the reactor coming down on the factory, a tech lab on the barracks. He will do a little bit of damage to some of these SCVs. I don't think he'll be able to kill one, but he may. No, he doesn't get any SCVs killed there. The Hellions are out though, so he knows exactly what's going on. Won't actually catch this lift. So we're going to be going straight into a tech lab on the factory. Stim on its way very early. So this may actually be acslayer gearing up for some kind of aggression, but I doubt it. I mean, it's probably much more likely he's going to take a very defensive position. Now, a spine crawler is on its way down now for Sheth. Obviously, because he didn't get that third queen, he can't creep spread. and creep spread would have allowed him to push that spine a bit more forward, and the Hellions are going to be able to deny. Now the Hellions are actually going to go and check to see if a third base has been taken, because that is the expected move, and that is the only place Sheth could have expanded. So it's a good job Sheth didn't go for that, otherwise he could have taken a lot of damage. And a Roach one actually finishing off now, and a Baneling Nest coming down. So the Roaches are just in case there is going to be mech play or heavy Hellion play. But I mean, as you can see, that's been transitioned out of. Although Sheth is getting 9 Roaches, so 9 Roaches straight away says to me, a ling, bling, ling bust. So you may see that. I mean, don't know how effective it will be. Siege mode is already half done. It will be finishing up pretty soon. But those Roaches will stop any form of aggression from these Hellions. Those Hellions are now completely useless. They are like having a, well, an original iPhone in today's day and age. Sorry if anyone does, but I mean, tech gets outdated quick these days. I'm only moaning about my iPhone because I had to get my one replaced today and really bothered me. But Slayer taking an absolutely great position here. He's got that tank and siege mode down. He's got the bunkers up. He's got the full wall off. And that means Sheth's going to walk backwards. And unfortunately, Sheth did commit a lot to that. He got a lot of units and a lot of kind of lava used up on getting Roaches and Lings out. And he's... Sheth, why have you got 2 Baneling Nests? Okay, the reason Sheth has got 2 Baneling Nests most likely, he's got the first one thinking, I'll go and Baneling bust him. And then most pro players have triggers or timings on which they'll get things. And you'll probably find the second one was done by that timing. That he thought, now's when I get my Baneling Nest. So he gets a Baneling Nest, forgetting he'd already made one. So if we have a look at Slayer's base here, he's set up very, very nicely. He's just getting a starport out now. He's got a lot of barracks. He's got combat shield and stim done already. Another reactor coming out. Combat shield actually only half done. I do apologise, I wasn't looking at the production tab. 1-1 is actually on its way now for Sheth though. So that means that obviously with the armour upgrade on the Lings and Blings, that tank, those poor tanks will have to shoot at them twice. The rocks have been taken down, so Sheth finally getting his third base. Also great positioning here. He's got Ling just checking for the rocks here. He's got an Overlord checking for drops there. An Overlord coming in from the north position. And all 3 Zelnaga towers. Or 3 of the only ones. The 4th one won't really serve much good. I mean, it's very unlikely army movement will get there. And it can't even get there without going through the other 2. Now we are seeing some Lings move out. And actually... Slayer's just dropped his wall down, so unfortunately Lings are going to go the wrong way, so they will get spotted. But I mean, that could have been a great opportunity for a Ling run by, but the wall was straight back up. Those Lings aren't actually going to get spotted. Obviously they aren't going to be able to get in there, so they will just move back straight away. And 2 hatcheries. A macro hatch is basically finishing up now for Sheth, and his third base is about 2/3 done. A infestation pit is finished, and he is getting his pathogen glands. Concussive shells are being completed now for Slayer, so he has 2 marauders, so he will be able to slow some stuff, which just means that spreading marines will be a little bit easier if there is banelings. Although if you actually have a look at the unit tab, there is no banelings on the field, so those marines could be quite effective, but it depends all on whether pathogen glands does get out. And a scan going off now, so he's going to know exactly what's here. There is only just a couple of Zerglings, and 2 more spine crawlers are on the way. Those tanks are sieging up though, and if those marines run up, it will give them vision of the high ground. The Zerglings are looping around. They might try and take out the tanks, and a lot of 2 queens straight down. Straight away that Overlord is going to go down. The macro hatch also looks like it's going to die, and that will be a big hit to Sheth here. If that macro hatch does die, then it basically means that his production has been cut quite significantly by a quarter actually. And these Lings are on the way coming back to the tower. They are being forced back though, and there's a lot of marines there. Some infestors are going to be popping out any second though, and the marines are obviously all clumped out, so that means that if the infestors do get out in time, they will just be able to fungal growth, and there goes that fungal growth, hitting all of the marines, a lot of them dying. It will take 2 though, but again, that is all going to go down. These Lings are positioned, so even if Slayer does try to move back, those tanks are going to go down. Again, another huge fungal, and those fungals did take out all of the marines. All of these tanks are now going to die to these 1-1 Lings. I mean, both sides took big hits there, but obviously Sheth is still ahead in the food count by just under 20, so it's hard to say. If we go to the loss tab, you will see it was a very, very, very close engagement. Sheth just coming out worse at the moment in the units lost, getting 2-2 though. Obviously he does have his third base up though, and is straight away rebuilding that macro hatch. +1 armor is on its way now to meet up with the +1 attack for Slayer. Slayer is actually building a command center now. It's about a quarter of the way done. Getting a second armory, so double upgrades will be going down. Hive also on its way now for Sheth, so very, very quickly teching up. And really, that tech up so quickly has been allowed by him playing this very Ling heavy style. Very much kind of Stefano style, and getting lots of Lings and using it to tech, because obviously he's not getting much gas. Now, obviously a couple of Banelings wouldn't have been a miss in that push. It would have allowed him to deal with those Marines a lot better. And he's just kind of running these Lings by, just checking that there's still no third base. So that's a big telltale to Sheth. It means that he has gone for a lot of army. And I mean, that is a pretty good quick build-up. But obviously the Marines have got the problem of the Infestors. And now there are 2 Vikings out which have just picked off an Overlord. Overlord speed has only just started. So there's going to be some Overlords going down. And when that does die, it will supply block Sheth. And now it'll only be momentarily. He's got more Overlords basically popping out, but it's just irritating. Having your Overlords picked off is annoying. It doesn't really damage you too badly at this stage in the game, but it just kind of makes you a bit distracted. And a third Overlord is actually going to go down, and that's a great tank position straight there. I like that. There is a medevac coming in now, so we are going to see a drop potentially go down, although it should get spotted by this Overlord. And it actually looks like there is a rally point up here, and there's a hatch being built, and I saw a hatch being built up there. And if we take a look here, there's a tank being positioned. This is a lovely position for that tank. It gives the high ground coverage of this 4th base, but Sheth isn't actually going for that at all. And we've got a lot of Marines coming in. There's those Vikings coming around, just prodding, poking. They might get picked off by the Infestors, but I think it'd be a bit of a waste. And now we actually can see a planetary fortress get morphed in here by Slayer, and an Ultralisk Cavern is on its way, as well as 3-3 and Adrenal Glands. Now, Adrenal Glands is such a good upgrade. You see so many Zerg players choosing not to take it, but obviously if Lings are going to be incorporated at all into your endgame army, it is a great thing to have. And this is a good position. I mean, there are some good fungal growths going off, but great spread on the Marines there means that they're going to do minimal damage. I mean, it looks like these medevacs will actually get picked off. So if we take a look here, I mean, yeah, he does use another fungal. Just taking out the medevacs just reduces the efficiency of the Marines. Obviously, the tanks are spread out massively. The Marines are spread out. The fungal growth won't be effective. 3-3 is on its way. Adrenal Glands just finishing off now for Sheth. We also have got +1 vehicle weapons for Slayer, as well as 2 infantry attack and armor on the way for Slayer. And I mean, if we take a look here, his third base is pretty much happily up. A lot of transfers going on. There is also now a 4th base, and actually this drop is going to be able to take out this top base here. May force the cancel. I mean, there's no way that Sheth can get his army there in time to deal with it. And it also looks like in the meantime he's left a tank down on that high ground, which has caused some problems on Sheth trying to take a 4th base in that position. And he is going to bring all of his Lings up, but they're just not going to get there in time. And he's had to cancel it, killed the drone, and it's really just great expansion management. Meanwhile, this base here is going to take a lot of damage from those Zerglings rather. The Marines won't be able to hold it, but there is still a tank on the high ground there, and that tank on the high ground will be able to do a lot of damage to the Marines, but on the Lings rather. But it does force the lift on the command center, and again trying to take this base, and it's going to be cancelled again just thanks to that great tank positioning. So Sheth is really being kept on these 3 bases, although there's a lot of Ultras out, and Ultras will be very, very effective in this matchup. Or rather in this game, purely because of the Infestors being out. Now the Infestors can fungal growth the Marines and keep them clumped up, which means the Ultralisks can om-nom-nom on them, and the only thing Ultras like eating more than Marines is eating workers, which we may see later on. And we have got +3 attack coming up now for Terran Infantry. We've got 3-3 about 3/4 of the way done for Sheth as well. I mean, this is a great position by Slayer. It's really keeping him in a good defensive position, but unfortunately this drop has been cleared up. The tank at the top has been killed. A 5th base now being taken for Sheth as well, but obviously the 4th and 5th are coming out at pretty similar times, and Slayer's already got his 4th base up very, very happily. He's got planetary fortress at both of them, a tank overlooking. He's in a very good defensive spot. I mean, a Ling One guy could come up through the top position here and take it out, but that would be quite difficult and would leave him open to a push forward. And the tanks are actually going to reposition, and this is good. I mean, there's so many tanks, and there is going to be a bit of an engagement here. A lot of Lings coming in. The tanks weren't sieged up, so it's a great time to move in. Just going to pull back, but I mean, Sheth took very little losses there, but just killed a tank or 2, killed some Marines. Just kind of army management, not allowing Slayer to get up that huge base, but we have got The Vikings moving out. They're going to try and take out some Overlords. And one will most certainly go down. We may see a second one, although they do manage to get away. So we won't see a second Overlord go down quite yet. But actually we will. A second Overlord is going to get sniped. And these Vikings have paid for themselves time and time over. I mean, all Terran players out there in ZvT, and you've got a starport already out, make just 2 Vikings. And we are going to see a drop coming in here. I mean, this is a double medevac drop, so those Overlords were sniped for a reason, that it allows the drop to come in relatively undetected. There is a spine crawler there, but obviously all the key tech is also there for Sheth. His army is very much out of position. There has been a drop up at the top position as well. I'm not quite sure when that went down, but... oh no, that drop went down ages ago. I do apologise, I did see that. But he's moving all his army up. It's going to kind of arc around to try and do some damage to that 4th base, but having to pull back. I mean, the extractor is down now. There's also the spawning pool going to get sniped very quickly, and I mean, the hive might even get sniped. And I mean, this positioning of the tanks means that this army isn't going to be doing anything. And if we take a quick look back, we are going to see the evolution chamber go down. And I think it's going to force the council... no, the 3-3 is already done, so that doesn't matter too much. The infestation pit is down. The Ultralisk Cavern could also go. The Queen down straight away. It will be interesting to see what he targets. It looks like the Ultralisk Cavern is going to die. And if that hive goes down, it's really going to take him back to the Stone Ages. And straight away, there is a fungal growth, but those Marines are being split brilliantly. So it is going to force Sheth to move back. And I mean, Sheth hasn't done any damage. I don't know why he hasn't pulled back any of his army. That army is just floating around. It can't take that. There's too many ghosts there. The ghosts haven't got an EMP off quite yet. And I mean, these Marines are still in play. They're just doing quite a lot of damage. And this main tank, the hive, has gone down. And I mean, there's no lair anywhere else, let alone any other tech. The upgrade will just get finished in time now by the evolution chamber. But I mean, Sheth has literally been sent back to the Dark Ages, having to rebuild his spawning pool, then get a lair up, then get... he has got a double spire, so I mean, he can get a lot of upgraded Mutalisks, but no Broodlords are going to be coming out soon. And I mean, Sheth, I don't know why he kept all of those units there. I mean, he has got a very, very strong army, but obviously no way to reinforce it. And while all of his units are back in this main base now, dealing with the drop ever so late, I mean, he's... Slayer has managed to move in there. There's a lot of ghosts there. Again, this is pre-patch, so Snipe is still incredibly effective against Ultralisks. And if we take a look, that other Ultralisk cavern is at risk of being taken out. That Overlord is going to die. The ghosts have got Snipe, and I don't actually even think that there is anything which can see them. Quite wisely loading up into the Overlord, but I mean, they are going to get taken out. And I mean, straight away the Infestors are getting sniped, but a good fungal growth off. But again, the Ultralisk are just getting mowed down. And we have got some movement in here, but there's so many tanks up there that Ultralisk is going to go down. And this is a great play by Slayer. Sheth is in a bad position here. I mean, the Ultralisk Cavern's down. That infestation pit looks like it could get taken down a second time. Obviously, the Ghost giving vision. And just all of those Ultralisk getting sniped. But a fungal growth does reveal them. And I mean, this is not a good position for Sheth to be in. He's just getting so much sniped off. He's lost a lot of units, and Slayer is ahead in the army count again. But obviously, he's had to pull back all of his SCVs, and I don't know what's really going on here. During all the action, I don't know if Sheth did something in there, but all of the SCVs are off the line. 2 more tanks are going to go down, but there's a lot of tanks here. There's good spread on the tanks as well. They are all sieged up. It will force Sheth back. And still, all of these SCVs are off position. I mean, all of Slayer's attention is being taken up by spreading all of his units out nicely. But as we see here, the double upgrades are going off the 2 spires. Lair just being morphed in. The infestation pit did stay up, so he can quickly get back up to hive. But I mean, no more Ultralisk Cavern. He can get Infestors and Banelings and Zerglings. The only real advantage for Sheth at the moment, well, it's not even an advantage anymore. He's mined out here. His main base has been completely destroyed. Long range mining from there. That Baneling nest will go off, so... well, Sheth can clearly see the future. That's why he built this second Baneling nest. He knew that it might get sniped from a drop. And he built a second one, just in case. So, well done, Sheth. You can see the future. Cheating, possibly, but who knows. We have actually got an expansion coming up here for Slayer, as well as another base coming up for Sheth. Now, Sheth has obviously got these 2 bases as well. So he is still on 4 bases, equal to Slayer. But obviously, Slayer's main is mined out, and so is his natural. So Slayer is effectively on 1 mining base. There's a lot of command centers in there which we may see morphed into orbitals, but actually Slayer in the unusual position of having a lot of gas banked up with not many minerals, getting an awful lot of ghosts, and moving forward now this could be not quite the right opportunity to engage. Obviously the siege did go off just in time. A lot of banelings being morphed in, a lot of zerglings coming in. Those zerglings are obviously 3/3 with adrenal glands. The infestors are very high on energy, so there could be some good fungal growths, but there's a lot of tanks. The tank count is very, very high, and we are going to see a drop go in now. I mean, this drop should be able to get counted pretty easily, but it's just going to go down, and Sheth's army is out of position because there has been another drop up in this top position taking out the mining base. So Sheth is going to have to split his army. He should be able to do it. He's split it very well. That will get taken out. This drop easily cleaned out. The hatchery didn't go down. I don't think anything got sniped down here either. Sorry, I'm trying to be in 4 places. Sheth meanwhile counter-attacking with some lings, forcing the lift up there, just checking in the top position. That Overlord is spreading some creep. It's going to keep that base from being able to take down anytime soon. So Sheth's doing some great management, but now some whole army movement going in, and that is a great fungal growth. Not going to be able to kill anything. And the tanks are now sieged up. That is a lot of tanks. The infestation pit is going to go straight down. The only plus side to this is that Hive has already been started down here, but there is a drop going down here as well, and I do apologise if I miss anything. Stuff is going down every which way. That is the only base which isn't being besieged at current time. And if we take a look here, those Marines are going to focus fire down the spires, but there is one back up there, and we're going to see a big engagement here. There's a lot of units. There's not very much Marine cover. So all of these tanks are pretty much going to go down, although there's a lot of snipes going off. I can just hear them all, and the Ultralisks are just dying. And this is really why in the latest patch, snipe has been reduced in its damage, because that is just so effective. There is so many ghosts left. They're just picking off Zergling after Zergling. And now that Ultralisk is also probably going to go down as well. There was a fungal growth off on there. Or no, it wasn't. It was just a baneling exploding, just dealing any damage it can. This base amazingly still up. This base as well. Having said that though, Slayer is going to be down to 1 mining base very shortly. Obviously all these Zerglings and creep there is going to prevent that 5th base coming down. Sheth's 6th base is actually down as we speak. He's rebuilt this hatchery just for getting mining off of these 2 extractors, and Sheth moving in for a big swinging now, possibly going to try and take out that base. I mean, he hasn't got anything that can attack air though. Meanwhile, it has allowed Slayer to build up this good position, get those tanks sieged up. Sheth just regrouping, and I mean, Slayer has got such a supply advantage. Absolutely hundreds, well not hundreds, but a very big, about 50 food supply advantage. Such a tech advantage as well. Hive is up for Sheth, but obviously he's got no infestation pit at the moment as far as I am aware. And actually, Slayer sneakily trying to move this in, but the Overlord is spreading creep, which is kind of good Overlord positioning. The scans are going off, just taking out the creep. And I mean, Sheth is really being pinned onto the ropes here by Slayer. Slayer again just loading up some more drops. That hatchery is dangerously low on health. If that does manage to go off, it'll do a lot. And Slayer having to expand out, and I don't think Sheth will have noticed that. I mean, he will eventually, but he's not doing anything to react to it. He's moving that medevac up, maybe just as some defensive positioning, and we have got the Great Spell on the way, so we will see some Broodlords eventually, and that's what really required. Drop tech is there now as well for Sheth, although there's a drop coming into this natural base, although that Baneling Nest would die anyway because it's off creep, but it's going to get focused down anyway, and unfortunately his second one is no longer there, so Banelings are now out of the picture for Sheth, and I mean, this dropping by Slayer is absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's got some Marines up here, but there are too many spine crawlers in position. That top base mining very heavily. The gas hasn't yet been taken by Sheth, although he's got 3,000 gas mined up. So, having said that though, Slayer has got 3,000, nearly 4,000 gas and minerals all saved up. So, he can very quickly remax. And we've got a drop coming in here. There's a planetary fortress in position. There is nothing in the way of missile turrets, and if that is spotted, then no, there's actually no way that army can move back. But Slayer is just going to move forward. There's a big lot of lings coming in. The tanks are unsieged at the moment, but what Slayer is going to achieve by moving into this position is he has literally split Sheth up. There is no way for him to get between his bases at all. This base will almost certainly go down. But having said that, Sheth is now just going to move those Zerglings in to go and attack nothing, apparently. The base has gone down, so that's one of the mining bases for ZvT out of the picture. Slayer is at 200 of 200. Broodlords are on their way in though now, but the Greater Spire has now just been sniped. There's a lot of movement in. All of that is going to get cleaned up by the 3-3 Zerglings and Banelings. The tanks are already down, running back to the safety of that tank line. A lot of infantry there as well. If we take a look down here, that command center just isn't going to be able to land at all. But this one up here mining very, very nicely. So Slayer is, if we take a quick count between the action, I don't think we're going to be able to. There's some Burrow Banelings, and Burrow Banelings go off, and that's an amazing hit right there. That was Funday Monday worthy. And I mean, ZvT is taking a lot of damage, but he has cleaned up that army completely. That was great play by ZvT. Those Burrow Banelings did absolutely huge damage. But having said that, the Marines have been pulled up into this dropship, and they are going to be moving backwards. They could snipe some Overlords or do some damage up to this mining base. Obviously, Slayer is on 1, 2 and a tiny bit mining bases. Meanwhile, ZvT is on, well, 1, 2 mining bases. Well, so Slayer does, ZvT rather, does have the advantage in terms of mining bases, but obviously these Zerglings have now actually found this, so all of those mineral lines have been taken. They're all forced to lift, and that puts Slayer back on 1 mining base. So ZvT is very, very much in an advantageous position in terms of mining bases at the moment. The medevac has been taken down, all the drops have been dealt with, and this command center just chilling out here, just like, I'm gonna land here. He has no idea I'm there, and it's a scouting command center just in case anything goes in. Now, Slayer is being forced to move backwards, sniping an Overlord on his way there. Obviously, tech-wise, though, I mean, it's really hard keeping track of what ZvT has and hasn't. His Hive is still up, Ultralisk Cavern coming. Spire is on its way, but the Great Spire has been sniped. So there can be some Ultralisks out, but there's absolutely no way he can get any Broodlords anytime soon. He does still have 1 on the field. Some Banelings. I don't think he's replaced his Baneling nest either. So there's an infestation pit. The Baneling nest just starting now, so this is some really weird tech, and I don't know if I actually missed the drop. I think I missed the Zergling drop which went on here, and I do apologise for that, but it must have been going on while there was this big attack going on from Slayer. And I mean, the food count now actually evening up quite a lot, and this is a scary army from ZvT. He's got a lot of fungal growths there, 3 Broodlords and quite a few Banelings, and I mean, there's a lot of Corruptors ready, the Banelings ready to morph in. This base completely mined out by Slayer now, so Slayer is on 1 mining base. And meanwhile, LiquidSheth has got 2 mining bases, getting some Ultralisks out, getting another mining base on his way. I mean, there's a lot of minerals left here, and ZvT really is mineral blocked. That's what's stopping him producing more units. Meanwhile, though, over at Slayer, he's also mineral blocked, and he's going to mine that out incredibly quickly. He needs to start dealing with this problem. And I mean, this Overlord has moved now. The Marine, all the SCVs are moving in, so if he lands that command center, that will be fine. A drop is going on here. It's going to get very cleaned up exceptionally quickly, but some Overlords were sniped, won't supply block ZvT at all. The Marines are dropping down. He's going to use a scan just to clear out those Zerglings, so another base is going to go down. And and there's an awful lot of infested Terrans coming down. That command center is going to go bye-bye. I don't think it can possibly survive that many infested Terrans, or maybe it will. It may. It's running away. It's trying. Is it gonna? Is it? Yep. It's survived. The world's luckiest command center survived that onslaught of infested Terrans. And now this is a huge army now from Slayer. Both players are at about 200 of 200. So a lot of Banelings coming in. These ghosts are there, but there are some overseers somewhere, I do believe. These Broodlords are getting sniped out very quickly, and again, this is the reason Snipe has been nerfed in the following patch, because ghosts are so incredibly effective with Snipe against the Zerg endgame units. And again, ZvT is just running his army around, just kind of trying to deal with all these drops. There's drops going off everywhere. Units are moving into his main base. That drop is pretty much cleaned up, but it has allowed Slayer to take an extra bit of positioning outside ZvT's original natural, which is now pretty much down. He's going to move in, and that Infestor could get big fungal growth off, won't be able to, get sniped first, and ZvT is going to get great position here. I mean, not ZvT, Slayer's going to get great position out here. ZvT is incredibly out of position. Those tanks are going to be able to get the siege up, and all of the tech now for ZvT is going to die. Meanwhile, ZvT is trying to counterattack to nothing again. He doesn't know where these bases are for Slayer. Mainly because he doesn't have any bases, but the spawning pool, Hive, Ultralisk Cavern, Spire, Infestation Pit, everything is gone. ZvT really back into the start of the game in terms of tech. All of his bases have been taken out, and he's just moved main. Basically, Sheth is just like, I didn't like it down here. The kind of neighbours weren't too good. They kept swearing and being abusive. So I've just moved as far away from him as I possibly can get. But the downside to that is the infrastructure for Sheth in the top right just isn't there. So it means he's got to really start back up. But he has got a big army. And this big army is full of infestors and ultralisks. He's got an overseer there as well, just to make sure that there is no ghosts around. But I mean, a couple of broodlords. Meanwhile though, Slayer's just going to be happy chilling here. He is kind of pinned though, because Sheth has positioned his army that if Slayer does unsiege and try and run away, there's nothing he can do. But these Vikings rather just going to be killing off all of the overlords. Not being able to do much damage though. And here we go, the spawning pool is there. So Sheth taking a 185 of 200 spawning pool here. It's a bit more of an unconventional build, and actually landing those Vikings, that is a good move. Maybe able to snipe the hatch, and that would be huge. The hatch does go down. The Vikings have sacrificed themselves. To be honest, it was a good move though. It put Sheth back onto two mining bases. Sorry, trying to get a third base up here as well. But meanwhile, Slayer literally has nothing. Slayer has no mining bases. Some Zerglings have been dropped into his main, but there is a lot of Marines there coming out of the production of Slayer, so it will be able to deal with that. Meanwhile, Sheth is moving his army around, and Slayer is doing lovely, lovely positioning. He's just sneaking this army through here. No overlords are going to be able to see it. There's absolutely no vision. He is going to be able to get the siege up, and this is good position now. The ghosts are going to move in to try and get some, but obviously the overseer is in position. Now that overseer will mean that the ghosts can be seen, but again, the whole of Sheth's army getting demolished by tanks. Ghosts trying to get some EMPs off. Still a lot of infestors with a lot of energy, and the infantry there, but the hatch has been taken out meantime, and some great fungal growths going off the broodlords, just laying down the rain of fire. And I mean, a lot of very, very low HP ultralisks, and what Slayer needs to do is exactly this. Deal with all of the expansions, and we're in a very, very interesting position here. If Slayer does manage to wind down all of this army, then it will leave Sheth with no tech. He'll be literally fighting with the Zerglings. But having said that, Zerglings are all you need if you do manage to take out all of these tanks. Meanwhile, we've got a lot of Marines coming down here, just to kind of deal with this drop. And I mean, meanwhile, all of Slayer's army is going to be dealt with. He's going to possibly be able to pick off a couple of infestors, but now all those broodlords are just in there. And if we take a look down in the main base of Sheth, he's still got all of his tech in place. Meanwhile, if we take a look down here, that hatchery is back up now, so the spawning pool will stay alive. But it literally is, Sheth has been forced back to Zerglings. That is the only tech he has, but he has got the space up in the top left position. Meanwhile, Slayer has no money. He just is broke. He's got a lot of gas, but no minerals. So Slayer hasn't produced anything for a good while now, and this is a crazy, crazy game. Sheth just getting another hatchery, getting his baneling nest out, clearing out these rocks, going to take the fourth base he will get. And I do apologise for kind of not being able to keep track of all of this, but this has been a hectic game, loads of drops going off anywhere. When we take a look here, the Overlord has been taken out, so the orbital command is there, and straight away, all of that stacked up energy, the mules are coming down. And so this will very, very quickly be able to get a lot of minerals in place for Slayer. Slayer just floating these around, but as you can see, Overlords have spread creep at pretty much everywhere. Burrowed Zerglings everywhere. This is the only mining base left available to Slayer. Meanwhile though, Sheth has got 2 mining bases, 3 mining bases up, getting a 4th mining base up. And he has got good positioning because he split the map pretty much down the middle. But now he's obviously taking control of these 3 expansions, and 4 expansions rather. And that means that Slayer, he's basically switched it from a vertical split to a horizontal split. But it means Slayer is left with absolutely nothing. He's got no bases aside from this one he can mine from. And again, just lifting that orbital command, going to drop it down closer. But a big Zergling counter push coming in. This run by could be quite effective, although there is a tank there and quite a few Marines. Some of these mules may get taken out, and obviously if mules do die, it's quite a big loss, because they do bring in a lot of minerals. And I mean, if we take a look here, still Sheth is just kind of going to remax on Zerglings, and Slayer's army has been completely destroyed. And I mean, Slayer has got well, 40 supply to Sheth's 120. This isn't a good position. I mean, even more getting taken down now. That medevac will go down. I mean, this Slayer has really gone out of this. I mean, I don't see any way he can bring this back. This expansion is all that is keeping Slayer alive. He's got all the tech. He's got everything he needs to be able to win the game, but just not the money to make it. He's got so much gas as well. And, I mean, if we take a look here, Sheth is just in a great position. He's just happily sitting on these 1, 2, 3, 4 mining bases. Although this 4th base is about to get taken down by the drop. I mean, Sheth isn't really worried. What Sheth needs to do right now, in my opinion, is look after his 3 bases. He knows that there is only 1 mining base for Slayer. He knows that as long as he defends these 2, I mean, he only even needs to really defend these 2, and he can win. He's got the infestors. His broodlords are slowly moving out of position now, so they are going to go and besiege this base. This base is the key to Slayer. If Slayer can defend this from the 130 food of Sheth, which isn't likely, it means that he's still in with a shot. The second this base goes down, Slayer has no chance. It just is impossible. And I'm not quite sure what he's doing now. Slayer, this may not be your best move. Moving out, I mean, those tanks are out of position. The Ling did spot them. I don't know what he's doing. He's just keeping a few Marines down there, but it is going to just force these broodlords back. And it's a bit of a stalemate position at the moment, but Sheth, the longer he survives, I mean, he is in a very advantageous position. The ghosts are just taking the watchtower. He's getting a good idea of what Sheth's movements are, and we have got some overlords over here, nothing in them. Some burrowed zerglings there, which could move in, because obviously there isn't a planetary fortress, it's an orbital command. Now, again, just some more overlords getting taken out ever so slowly. If we take a look up here, this is a lot of units. The Baning Nest is complete for Sheth. There's a lot of Banelings morphing in, 17, and that's the 50 supply of Slayer. And I mean, if this tiny little force gets taken out, to be honest, I have no idea why Sheth isn't just going for it. He's got so much stuff. You could kill that with Zerglings, 3/3 Zerglings, and that looks like what he could be deciding to do. Actually going to target the reinforcements. I mean, Sheth, just go for it, man. But no, this base is now mining. Slayer is slowly building up the units he needs. He's got 2 more tanks on the way. He's got a lot of Marines on the way. But this is very out of position. Slayer is just looking around. And I mean, there's a lot of Zerglings there. This is a great out of position army. Although he has managed to siege up. But still, he can run that in. And the Broodlord's actually coming in. So that means those tanks are going to go down. And I mean, once one of the tanks is down, that's the first loss. A lot of snipes going off. And I mean, to be honest, there's just so many Zerglings. This force is going to get cleaned up. It's going to put Slayer all the way back behind again. And I mean, he's cleaned that up. But Slayer has been allowed to mine out of this base. And I mean, orbital command wise, he's lost a lot of them. So he is really left with just the 1 orbital command. He's actually dropped the other orbital command in the middle of the map in order to make SCVs and drop mules. Now those ghosts are going to meet a horrible fate now, and the tanks are going to go in, but I mean, Sheth is choosing not to push this, and I don't understand why. He's just playing very safely, but you've got all the bases. He knows he has all of the bases, or rather that Slayer has none of them, except that bottom one, and there he goes. He's going in for a big push. The Banelings are rolling in, the Marines aren't going to be able to split anymore, and he didn't even try to pull back, and I mean, Slayer's on 21 food now. This game is over, and there is the good game from Slayer. And wow, my voice is regretting casting such a long game there, but wow, that was incredible. If I had to give a comment on why Sheth won that, it was expansion management. He just kept expanding, and he made sure that Slayer just couldn't. He kept all of these bases free from Slayer. He made sure that Slayer just ran out of money, and through sheer persistence, Sheth managed to win it. So congrats to Sheth. Slayer did some great drops. I mean, the amount of times he managed to snipe all of Sheth's tech out was purely incredible. So great game. If you enjoyed it, please click subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. I am being featured on Starcraft2casts.com, SC2casts. I think I've said that in one of my previous videos, but I mean, go and check their site out. It's fantastic. Download their app and everything like that. I love it. And thank you very much for watching. I'm going to cast some more as well, so stay tuned all week because I'm going to try and get a good flow of videos coming up. Bye for now.